Warm welcome to Disky Talk with Luyolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, I discuss all things Orlando Pirates as Happy Jele has left the club. When you do have a look at Happy Jele, this is a great servant who has spent so many years at Orlando Pirates. That's where then he broke through and started his professional career, and he went on to become a captain for so many years, and he was also then a very good defender for them over the years. But in the recent week, it was announced that Happy Jele will be leaving and that he won't be staying on at the club. It is reported then that he was also offered a role beyond play, but he did turn it down as he feels that he still has a season or two still to play. So it does make it very interesting then with regards to where he's going to go next. However, when you do look at Happy Jele leaving Orlando Pirates, it does then spell a new era of leadership for Orlando Pirates. And the big question then becomes, who will be the next captain of Orlando Pirates? Also then, it does also spell a new era within the defense. So when you do look at Orlando Pirates, it is reported then that Jose Riviero does play with the back three. So let's just have a look at it from this perspective, and then we'll also have a look at it from a back four perspective. So when you do have a look at Orlando Pirates, over the years they have been struggling within the defensive department. You know, they did bring in Tyson at some point, and yeah, he just didn't live up to the expectations. And when you do have a look at them, they have recently signed Usibisi and Koki as well. So those are two very good players who both come then from teams then within KZN. Namely being Golden Arrows and then Amazulu as well. Another interesting component then is that both of them were captaining their respective sides. With CBC, he was captaining Golden Arrows for throughout his time until he got signed by Orlando Pirates. With Koki, he was captain, and then at some point Veli Motor became the captain. But this is a player then who does have those leadership qualities. So when you look at it then, they've signed two centre backs who are both leaders, two centre backs then on long-term contracts who then could become part and parcel and very important then for this defensive line. But when you do look at it then, Orlando Pirates last season did sign a player by the name of Olisanda, and this is a player who had a great debut season within the DStv Premiership. So when you do have a look at Olisanda, this is a player then who is very comfortable on the ball, a player then with great game intelligence as well. However, as the season progressed, one did feel that Olisanda needed a partner, you know, within the heart of defense. So when you do have a look at Orlando Pirates, because then they do play with a three at the back, you would have Olisanda was playing mainly as the right-sided centre-back, and then you'd have Jele there, and then you'd have either Maela or Marco. But going into the new season, how do I think that they'll play? So I think that they'll have Maela there, and then it becomes very interesting then to see if Olisanda would be moved and played as a sweeper, or does he continue to play as a right-sided centre-back? Because when he did play as a right-sided centre-back, what he was key at then is being able to progress the ball for Orlando Pirates. And when you do have a look at Olisanda, he does then have that diagonal pass. He's press resistant. He does have that pass into the midfield where he's able then to break lines. And he's got those penetrative passes as well. Very comfortable on the ball, and he reads the game very well. So you do have Olisanda there. The interesting thing then becomes who then plays as the sweeper and becomes that extra layer of defense. So you've got Koki and then you've got CBC as well. So what I think is that you could very well have either Koki playing there, or if you have CBC playing as a right-sided centre-back, and then you could have Olisanda there. Or you could swap it. But the dynamics then between being a wide centre back and a sweeper, very different. Because as a wide centre back, a lot of the times you do find yourselves in those deep, wide defensive pockets where then you're faced with a 1v1. And you often have to face that. And then when you do look at a sweeper, a lot of the times then you're responsible to offer that extra layer of defense. So what you do then is being able then to cover and clean up, behind these two whenever a ball then would be played there. At times it does require you having to step up into midfield, so you are then that extra layer of defense. So it does become interesting, but what I foresee then is Maela as the left-sided centre-back. And then as a sweeper, I do see Sibisi. And then as the right-sided centre-back, you will have Olisa Nda. But the big question then is who then becomes the captain? So I think that the new captain of Orlando Pirates will most likely be Innocent Maela. And then vice-captain could most likely be Ofori. Or it could be the other way around. The thing is then with Sibisi and Koki is that as much as they captain their previous teams, they're new to the club. So you really find a situation where players are new to the club and then they're given the captaincy. But I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that's what they did with Tyson. But I don't foresee it happening then with CBC or Koki. So I do think that Maela or Fori will most likely take the armband. However, I could be wrong. So at home, do let me know, who do you think will be the new Orlando Pirates captain going into the new season? And how do you see them playing with regards to their defensive line? So we've had a look at it then from a back three perspective. Let's have a look at it then from a back four perspective. So if it is a back four then, what I see then, Maela still there. You could have either Koki or Sibisi as the left-sided centre-back. And then you have Olisanda, and then you'd have Shandu, and then you'd have Richard Ofori. So that's how it would look like then from a back four perspective. So, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know, what do you make of this episode where we had a look then at some of the new signings, being Koki and Sibisi, which are two signings then that I've covered extensively with regards to what they bring to Orlando Pirates. But when you consider the fact that Happy Jele has left, Nyawuza has left, it does then mark a new dawn and a new era with regards to Orlando Pirates' defensive department. And the big question, who will be the captain? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you very much for tuning in yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Leolo. Signing out.